Asian Canadian sisters and brothers who are members of Equinox. I'm especially thinking of all of us in New York, New Jersey, California, Vancouver, and Toronto. Okay, this is your undie talking, and we need to have a heart-to-heart. Since January, Equinox has depicted us, Asian women, as a disembodied sex bot to attract more customers. They displayed it at 10 of their locations. Women of all races have been filing their complaints for 8 months, but it wasn't until only a few weeks ago they finally decided to take it down quietly because hundreds, if not thousands of you canceled your memberships. Then CNN reached out, asking if I'd speak to the history of the dehumanization of Asian women. I did. And Equinox, in response, decided to publicly attack me instead. I, a former investigative reporter and a communications expert, was instead called this content creator, saying I was manufacturing outrage when educating on the centuries-long and deadly and violent harm that we and our mothers and our grandmothers have endured. Equinox has made it loud and clear that the voices of Asian women are insignificant, worth making fun of, worth disrespecting, worth gaslighting. The pathetic bro show at Equinox, the MAGA donating, Joe Rogan loving, Andrew Tate watching, testosterone taking, member enlarging, Fox News reporter dating of an operation is long overdue to be boycotted. You and we deserve respect and dignity. Many of you have supported Equinox for years, making them very wealthy. So let me end with this. In 2019, Equinox, the owner of Equinox, threw a lavish fundraiser for its longtime friend and convicted felon Donald Trump. They got so much heat because people canceled their memberships. They sent out a strong apology and donated $1 million. When we spoke out, for some of us, 8 months, they ignored it. And then finally, just last week to CNN said, okay, they'll take it down, but this was all manufactured outrage. You put a disembodied Asian woman on a stick, dehumanizing her. And then when we said, wait a minute, this is deeply predatorial, this is the history, and you're saying, no, that's not it? That's not what this is? Let's show them what happens when Asians put our money elsewhere.
Equinox has been on the news for a whole lot of wrong reasons. This controversy of this ad began as early as January, where Asian women came out and they were voicing out their serious complaint with an AI-generated image where Asian women were depicted more like a sex object. And considering the history of Asian women, they did not love the idea of being objectified as, sex objects. So they made all efforts to reach the appropriate authorities, but to no avail. And so people began to withdraw their memberships in thousands, in large numbers. But it didn't stop the management of these gyms from implementing the desires of its customers until brands and news houses like CNN began to cover the controversial matter. After which, the lady who is in charge of the department of Equinox decided to pull down the ad, but did not do any official apology to that effect, even though it was disrespectful to all Asian ladies. So that is what this video is covering, and we'll have a couple of videos to share more. If you're coming across my YouTube channel, you're welcome. Do free to hit the subscription, hit the notification button, so that when we cover stories like this, you'll be the first to be notified. All credit to the original content creator. So let's dive right into the videos, guys.
Here's a story that I do not think has been getting enough attention in the mainstream media. A few weeks ago, Equinox the Gym quietly removed an ad that was part of its Question Everything ad campaign after major backlash. This ad has rightly been called out for being racist and sexist. This ad depicts an Asian woman who kind of looks like a cyborg, and she's disembodied and has a finger in her mouth. And it's very hypersexualized and pretty gross. This ad has actually been running since January, and despite customers complaining and pulling their their memberships and tons of posts on Reddit. The company didn't do anything. It's only recently, when people with large followings started speaking out against it, that Equinox decided to pull the ad. One of the people who spoke out against this ad was Isla Park Robertson, who's a communications expert and former investigative journalist. She also did a great interview on CNN about the history and harm of the dehumanization of Asian women. When I tried to research this story, it looks like, other than CNN, the only publications that have covered it are trade pubs. Instead of listening and taking the criticism to heart, not only from Isla Park Robertson, but a ton of other voices, particularly Asian women voices, they show just how sexist they are. In a statement from an anonymous Equinox spokesperson, which, first of all, it is never a good look to have an anonymous spokesperson speak to this kind of issue, they seem to dismiss Isla and the criticism by calling her a content creator who is just trying to manufacture controversy. This statement was reductive and dismissive, and it's basically the equivalent of saying fake news. Calling fake news might work with a certain type of customer in a certain type of instance, but it does not work when you're trying to build a luxury brand across North America, and you've created real harm to a community. The company also has the audacity to say that the content creator is missing the broader context of their ad, but they're the ones who are missing the broader historical and cultural context. The agency that created the campaign, Angry Gods, has taken more accountability and made a donation to the National Asian Pacific Women's Forum. Well, Equinox does go on to kind of apologize in their statement and said they were going to remove the ad. By dismissing this criticism as manufactured controversy, it is not listening and hearing and taking accountability. You don't get kudos for something that's been up since January and where you only acted when the backlash hit a fever pitch.
Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of people online talking about this Equinox ad, and all of the takes that I've seen so far have been extremely spot on. This is weird, this is dehumanizing, this is techno-orientalism, but I haven't seen a lot of people talking about the second part to this ad, so I'm going to give a little bit more context, and it's actually probably going to make it worse. So for those of you asking, what does this ad have to do with Equinox? What does it have to do with fitness or gyms? Basically, for those of you who don't know, Equinox is an extremely expensive gym. It is, I would say, probably one of like the most premium gyms that you're probably going to find in any major city. And the point of it is that they're not trying to sell you just a gym or just like a fitness place. They're trying to sell you a lifestyle. They're saying Equinox and fitness is a lifestyle. And the agency that worked on this ad campaign wanted to comment on something that they thought would be relevant to everybody in the modern day, which is the feeling of not knowing if something you're seeing online is real or not. And so this is actually the second part to this ad. It goes, question everything but yourself. So the purpose was that they wanted these images in the question everything part to be provocative, to comment on something that they thought was relevant. And directly from the agency, they said, the discomfort is the point, but it's always in service of contrast. Each reference exists to make the real physical body feel more grounded by comparison. And so what I think is the most messed up part here is that this disembodied head of an Asian woman is used in service of the contrast in order to make this body of this person feel more real. And there are actually 8 total images to this campaign, but in not a single one of these images does an Asian person show up in the but yourself part, the part that is reserved for people that they want to give humanity, the people that they want to portray as being desirable. And the only 2 instances that you see Asian people being used in this ad campaign is this one and then this one.
Let's play a game. What do you think that is an advertisement for? It's for Equinox, the fucking gym. This is what the rest of the campaign is. Question everything. Oh, look, these silly things, but yourself. Like, oh my God, look at the Pope wearing a funny puffy jacket. And in that campaign, they thought it was appropriate to not only overly sexualize Asian women, but insinuate ownership over them. And this is the thing. People, and let's be honest here, mostly Asian women have been seeing these feeling really uncomfortable and going into Equinoxes to complain, and this is what they're being told.
They said they already told their general manager, their store manager, but their store manager also doesn't have any power to change the marketing or the ad. It's about like the corporate marketing team if they are gonna change it.
Apparently this has been here for almost a year.
Yeah.
and nothing happened.
And they're not changing it.
Yup, as someone who worked for a large corporation that was known for its amazing marketing strategies, especially during the 2010s, and ran its company like it was a marketing company that happened to make and sell consumer products, I can assure you this comes from corporate. And you would probably think to yourself, wow, the chief marketing officer is probably this like old white guy, right? Nope. This is Equinox's chief marketing officer, Bindu Shah, who's not only their chief marketing officer and chief digital officer, but her actual title is an executive vice president. And as you can see, she's been there for just over a year. And do you remember this part?
Apparently, this has been here for almost a year.
You heard that right. That means Bindu was either there and approved the ad or was at least there over the last year as an executive vice president and had the power to get it removed. And didn't. Because you do all remember the consequences of when Asian women are hypersexualized, right? Bindu, and I get it, there's a lack of unity amongst Pan-Asians, but what's this down here? Oh, I see you have no qualms accepting and reposting receiving an award, a Pan-Asian award, to be recognized as one of the top Asian people in fashion and lifestyle because of your position at Equinox. I'm sorry, Goldhouse, why are we recognizing and giving an award to someone who prioritizes her own success even over the safety of other Asian women? Boycott Equinox, because apparently, even with the brown Asian woman heading their whole marketing department, they still can't stop upholding white supremacy.
So the Asian community is feeling very, very, very offended right now. It's like this is a season of boycotts, from boycotts of Asian goods by the Black Americans and stores to the boycott of Equinox by Asian community both in America and in Canada. And the reason being that these executive expensive gym, so to say, that is designed in such a way, that is meant to send a lifestyle, not just more than a fitness center, but is meant to communicate a way of life, has not yielded to the desires and the cry of Asian women who have felt that they have been objectified over the years as sexual objects. And this is the whole thrust of the matter. The Asian community has come out to condemn this, and they have not just condemned this verbally, they have taken very critical steps by going off their registration, revoking their registration as you may have it. And for me, I personally feel that this is very insensitive. You don't need a major name or a major brand to come out to condemn things like this when those who are putting money in your pockets are being ignored. And this is almost what is also the issue with the Black American boycott. You can't treat your customers, those who keep your establishment running, anyhow, ignoring their requests, especially when this has been brought before your table since January 2026. And the sad part of it is that the chief marketing executive manager is a woman.